We did some quick fire objections. Well, I am now going to run through just a handful of them today. And the whole point of this is understanding why we're saying what we're saying and what are we trying to achieve. It's great memorizing rapid fire objections, but we need to understand the exact objection itself, right? So we did one of these a couple of weeks ago. If you missed that, go check it out. We're going to do the same again. Now, we're under contract for another 12 months. Tough one, right? The response we gave last time was totally understand. Thank you for the clarity. If your current solution stops performing to your standards inside those 12 months, what happens then? Great question. Why is it a great question? Now, as long as you're speaking to someone with a bit of authority on this and is a decision maker in the business, you're pressure testing them to see if their current solution does mess up. Do they have the appetite and genuine capability to make a change within contracts? That is why we ask this. Instead of going, well, we're under contract for another 12 months. Okay, when does your contract expire? Well, in March. So give me a call in January. Okay, great. Noted. I'll do that. You're not going to achieve anything because by the time you call them in Jan, they'll say, oh, yeah, give me a call in a month's time. We'll look at it. We'll look at it. We'll look at it. Bam. Renewed. Opportunity gone. Forget waiting. This is the thing. Everyone thinks that's the right thing to do. Well, I'll give them a call a couple of months before their contract's up. Okay, you may end up having to do that, but firstly, have you asked them or pressure tested them, is there a capability of them breaking contracts if their vendor fucks up royally? How do we find that out? By asking this question. Totally understand. Thank you for the clarity. If your current solution stops performing to your standards inside those 12 months, let's say in the next 2 months, things start falling apart and they're not living up to the bargain, you're paying for this. What actually happens then? Just out of interest. Well, Neil, we're stuck in a contract. So unfortunately, we've paid up front. We'll have to see it through. We'll have no appetite to break that because if we bring another vendor on board, we're now paying double bubble. Okay, got it. I will call you in January, but I'm just going to pop a reminder / placeholder in your diary now. So if you don't mind accepting that, at least you're not going to be caught off guard the next time I call you. Does that sound fair enough to you? Of course, Neil, go and do that. Don't just do that straight off the bat. Pressure test, because if the solution does stop performing, they're paying on a monthly, for example. Well, actually, we have the ability to stop the direct debit based on X, Y, and Z metrics that they said they have to deliver on. Okay, how are they currently performing? These are all different types of questions that can then lead on from what they're doing, all right? Always pressure test. We're under contract for another 12 months. Otherwise, you're just going to end up facing a renewal. Put the graft in now. Ask the difficult questions. Your implementation timeline is too long. Response, I hear you. Nobody wants a drawn-out rollout. What specific time frame did you ideally have in mind to start seeing results? This shouldn't even really be an objection. Your implementation timeline's too long. But I do hear it. I do hear it. Implementation time was far too long. Okay, great. What specific time frame did you have ideally in mind to start seeing results? Well, we need to get up and running ASAP. Okay, here's what we can do. We can actually stagger the implementation. So you get 90% of the benefit now within the next 4 weeks. And then we tie up the rest to make sure it's completely seamless. You won't notice a difference other than your revenue going from X to Y. Sound good? Yes. Now, this is a tougher one. We tried something like this before and it didn't work. They've already been burnt, right? Burnt once, twice shy, right? I'm sorry to hear that. Being burned before makes anyone cautious. Address exactly what's going on there, right? This is super important. This first time, I'm sorry to hear that. You need to be empathetic with them, right? Instead of going, well, it wasn't us. Well, what good's that going to do you? They see you the same as their person that let them down in the first place. That's how they see you. You need to understand that. I'm really sorry to hear that. Being burned before is bound to make anyone cautious. I'm with you on that. Right? That's why you're saying that. You're empathizing, you're relating to them. It'd make me cautious. Do you mind me asking what happened exactly so we can ensure that we don't repeat those mistakes by other party? Or if it was us in the first place, we just make sure we don't repeat those mistakes. Now, the whole point of this To get to the second part and get them to answer that question, you need to nail that first part. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm so sorry to hear that. I've been burned before when I'm purchasing something. Obviously, it makes me cautious, so I totally get where you're coming from. John, do you mind me asking what happened exactly, just so we can ensure that we don't repeat those mistakes that vendor X made? Great way to get them to open up. Now, imagine not empathizing at the start. We tried something like this before and it didn't work. Oh, right. What happened? Well, their walls are still up, aren't they? Their walls are up. You haven't done anything to bring the walls down, which means you haven't earned the right to get your question answered. If you want to ask them a question, they're doing you a favor. They're doing you a favor. You got to earn the right. Bring the walls down for them and then make it easier for them to answer the question. Don't come in with an attitude, well, it wasn't us. We told you. Here you go with our competitor. That's what's going to happen to you. Now, let's talk about our product. Bollocks, you've already lost them. Empathy first is so important with this. These are the bits of nuance that human beings can pick up that artificial intelligence just can't quite get right, all right? Finally, we need to see a proof of concept before committing. Understand what they're talking about. Totally understand. Committing without proof feels risky. What exactly would you need to see during that POC to feel 100% confident putting pen to paper? That's a good question. Right? You know what's going to be important to them. Now, if they come back, why do we ask this question? Because we want to know if they come back with some wild demands or expectations, you now know what you're dealing with and you can manage them. Hey, we can give you the data, but we can't guarantee that at the exact time you ring them, they're going to pick up. What we do is guarantee X, Y, Z. If we can hit 80% accuracy rates for you here, are you good to shake hands and progress forward? Because equally, if we can only hit 20%, we're happy to shake hands and walk away, right? It's all about parameters and frameworks. You can't have wild negotiations or wild asks, right? People can just ask for anything if you give them no remit and no framework and skeleton to work inside. That's the whole point of this. We need to see a proof of concept for committing. Totally understand what does success look like from a trial perspective to you. Get their wild asks out the way, manage their expectations, pin them into a framework where we go, if we hit X, Y, and Z, can we agree that that would be an overall success? Get them to agree to a success metric. What does success look like? And then we go, we can hit this, this, and this. Equally, if we don't hit this, happy to shake hands and walk away. That is the whole premise. We need to see a proof of concept before committing. Sure, no worries. We do a trial. What's wrong with that? You know they're asking for a trial, right? We need to see proof of concept. Yeah, we can run you a 2-week trial. Great. You run the 2-week trial. Hey, how was that? Well, it was shit. We didn't do any deals. Well, hold on. We didn't guarantee that we can get you deals. It's too late. Because you didn't set the expectations and manage them from the start, from the outset, you've now lost them because they've gone off on a tangent and gone, well, we didn't get any deals from that. Sack it off. Address what success looks like for them and then readdress then remanage their expectations, because what they're going to be looking for 9 times out of 10 is going to be wild. We expect to do 5 deals before we commit to anything. Okay, that's insane. How do you expect to do 5 deals? Well, because when we ring someone, they'll pick up and do this, this, and this. Right. Okay. Well, you do understand that we provide you this, but we can't guarantee the psychology behind what the CFO is going to be thinking of the person you've called or the person that you've called when you call them on a Tuesday afternoon, right? You understand that, yes? Okay, here's what we can do. We can arm your sales team with the best in breed contact and company data because you don't have it right now. So when they call, instead of getting dead tones 4 out of 5 times, they're going to hit the right number. 5 out of 5 times, they're going to hit the right email. How does that sound to you? If we can hit 4 out of 5 right phone numbers, 5 out of 5 right emails, does that look like success that we can shake hands on and move forward with? Equally, if only one number's correct, happy to shake hands and walk the other way. This is the kind of conversations that you want to be having. And you need to understand exactly what they're asking for to know what you need to say so you can manage the outcome that you want. Okay, so let's run through those again very, very quickly. We're under contract for another 12 months, basically telling you, hey, we're using someone else. We're in contract. We can't use you. See you later. Pressure test them. What happens if that person or the vendor doesn't deliver anymore? What happens then? Timeline's too long implementation-wise? No, I totally hear you. Don't want something long and drawn out. What specific timelines do you have in mind? We tried something like this before. Didn't work. Really sorry. Empathize first before asking the question. Yeah. Get an understanding of what happened and what went wrong. That information and knowledge gives you power. And we need to see a POC. Okay, yeah, cool. Well, if you offer a trial straight off the bat without setting clear success metrics, kiss your time and that deal goodbye, because you are on a hiding to nothing. People have expectations, guys. If you don't manage them, that's your point. That's your job as a sales rep. Manage negotiations, manage their asks, because people will ask for whatever they want to ask for. But if you can't deliver on that, then what are you going to do? Do a little merry dance with them, and then what? At the end of it, oh, well, no deal. I've just wasted 3 months. Great. Guys, hope you found that useful. I have built an objection handling masterclass. The link is in the description below. If objection handling is a problem for you, you need to download this. Why? I always ask why. Because this is a masterclass. It doesn't just give you the answers to memorize. It gives you that, but it'll give you the thinking behind it. It will give you what the objection is really asking. Yeah. What is the real objection? It will give you an understanding behind the words that your prospect is saying. And so you then know not only what to say, but you know why you're saying it. Download your copy now and level the fuck up, because 2026 is going to be brutal. You think 2025 was bad for you sellers? You're in for a nightmare. I already know this. Look at the market. Look how complex it is. You need to become the best version of a seller the world has ever seen. And that is a fact. That's not exaggeration.